what we're going to do is look at how to create project reports for your assignments and setting up references, contents pages and table of figures. So you can work from this template or kind of quickly make your own. You'll find this on Moodle. But you can see the basic layout here. What you'll definitely need is a title page, and you should have your project title, name, student number. And you'll need a contents page, and then these are the rough headings you'll need. So you want to talk about your research, the project process, in this case modelling, texturing, unwrapping, and how you presented your work. And then conclusion and reflection, which is one of the most important aspects of your project report. So you need to really criticise your work here. So what went wrong, what you could be, how you could improve it, kind of any errors with the art style, that kind of thing. So really examine every aspect of this. So your modelling, your texturing, your unwrapping and your presentation. Really look into those four. That's what gets you the high marks when you're doing a project report or a project video. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is set up headers and footers. So if we just come over to the insert box here, the first thing we'll do is just go to footer, and if we just click that button, all we want in our footers is page numbers, so just select that there. Then if you just click off, you'll see you already have page numbers. That's all you need for that. For the headers and footers, I've already got them in here, and by the way, you just double click to access them and to click off like that. So to actually insert them, if you just go to header, and you can pick kind of what you want from these. Now as you can see, we only need the two here, and for some unknown reason it doesn't have them. So if we just select that one, in here we can put our name, and here we'd put our student number. And if you just leave the other one blank, or just delete it out, then you can get that in. Okay, so obviously you're going to type your stuff here. Right, so how do we make a set of contents then? So to make a set of contents, what we do, really easy, if you just select each subheading that you've made, right, go to the Styles tab, and just select the kind of heading that you want. So we're going to go for heading 1, and you want to do that on each of these. And what Word will do then is basically make these into different content areas. Okay, so that has literally set that up, and you can see now I can actually hide the contents of that area. Okay, so in order to actually insert content, so we just come back to our contents page, and we just go to insert, and for some reason I can never remember exactly where this is. It might be in references actually. There you go, table of contents. And you can just again just pick the style you want. And you can see that this has now added in a contents page based on our heading. So let's say we want to add a new one. So maybe I'll put evaluation in. And I can select that and go to heading 1. And notice how this doesn't update, but if you just click it and just go to update table, update entire table, that will add evaluation in there. Okay, so now we've got our title page done, headers and footers done, and our contents done. The next thing to do is to, what we also want to do is add in some images and set those up right, and add in some references. So let's add in something in our modelling section here. We're going to add an image in here. So if we go to insert pictures, and we'll just select this image here, and I'll make it a little bit smaller. So you can see I've now got an image nicely added in here. So what we want to do to correctly do this is make this into a figure. And to do this, really easy, if we just come over to references and just go to insert caption, and we're going to call this figure 1 dash Maya grid setup. So we'll just give it a little name like that. We'll just hit OK. So we can see now underneath our image here we have a little title. Now obviously you probably want to add more images than that like you normally would, so if you do, then just add them all in, and then what we do is come over to references and go to insert table of figures. The default settings should be fine, but you can see this is now nicely added in our figure 1 Maya grid setup, and there's our image there. So one thing to mention here when inserting a figure into your text, you need to make sure that you actually reference it in the text in some way. So for instance in this case we might put something like the grid in Maya must be set up correctly using power of 2 as seen in figure 1. If this is from a you should also feature the name of the thing as well, and if it is a quote as well you should insert that in too. So if it's from a book or anything like that, that should go in too. So obviously we don't have a reference set up for this just yet, but if it did, we'd have that straight afterwards in the text here. Okay, so that's how to do a table of figures. The next thing we want to do is add in a reference. So what I'm going to do is just write in a line of nonsense here. So one of my main influences was the game Mario Kart. I put Mario Kart 64 just for the N64 version. So then what we want to do is go to Insert Citation, in References, Insert Citation, add a new source. And this, for some reason they haven't quite added all these in yet, so I'm happy enough if you use book. So you can see these are all the different kind of sources you can have. Obviously you've got things like website. I imagine you guys would be using that quite a lot. You have things like film as well, and you've got things like books, and obviously when you come to do your dissertation you'll use stuff like journal articles and stuff like that as well. So if we just select book, you'll see we've got author, title, year, city and publisher, and I'm happy enough if you want to use that for things like games. So with this one we know the author is Nintendo. We know that the title is Mario Kart 64. The year, I'm going to guess 1998. Obviously this needs to be right, but we'll just leave it at that for now. And the city is Tokyo and the publisher is Nintendo. Oh, and I also should put corporate author, by the way. And that might be Nintendo Limited, to be fair. So we'll hit OK. And you can see now that's slotted that in there. And now let's say down here, I'll also write, so using a, for some reason it's decided to do it like that. Using Mario Kart 64 as a texture reference, and again we'll slot that one in there as well. So yeah, if you want to use it again, we can just go Insert Citation, Nintendo, and there we go, that will appear again. Okay, so let's say we've done a whole load of references here, we've got 5 or 6 here, there's no need for me to do too many. We will go onto a new page and we'll go References, Bibliography, and just click that. And this will make our bibliography based off whatever ones we have made in here. Now obviously Nintendo only appears once because it's the same reference, so we only need to have that in there once. But if you had other ones in here, this will list them in order. Now really we should be on Style Harvard as well. So make sure you are on Style Harvard, that is the kind of standard university one. So yeah, we've now got contents which will update automatically. By the way, do update table, update entire table, and that will add your bibliography onto the end. We've got a figure set up here, we've got a bibliography down here with our references as well. So another thing we need to look at adding in here is quotes. So if you're using a quote from a book or a website or any other kind of reference, so rather than paraphrasing here, you're actually directly quoting from a reference. So I'm just going to copy this bit of text, a direct quote from Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. When you are doing this, you need to make sure that you use speech quotes around it, and then make sure that you actually put the reference in. So let's put another reference in. So we'll go insert citation, add new source. Again, this is a book, so we'll put the author in here, we'll put the title in here, and we'll put the year in here, which is 1941, and the publisher, which is Dodd Mead & Co, and the city, which is New York, and that's okay. So that's how you put a quote in. You just put the text in, maybe put something like this. It's written, and then we'll just leave it like that. There are books, and then put your quote in actual speech marks, and then insert the reference afterwards. And that's basically all you need to do. One other thing you need to do is edit citation, and then also put the page number in from which that comes from. So to be honest, I'm not sure which page that is, but obviously you should be very precise. So we'll maybe just put page 101 and hit OK. And you can see that has now added the page. So yeah, that's pretty much how to set up a project report. And obviously once you've done this once, you could just reuse this template if you wanted to as well. So yeah, all good. Just remember the most important thing here is to discuss your project pipeline, and then conclusion and reflection. I could probably put and critical analysis as well, like that, because that's the important thing about project reports, especially when you get to year 2 and especially in year 3.